I'm your host, humbled missionary pilot here, Davin Bennett from Jamaica, but currently volunteering as a missionary pilot with Philippines Adventist Medical Aviation Services, aka PAMAS. I have some amazing lineup for you guys. We're gonna be making a big announcement, so you cannot afford to miss that. We're gonna be sharing some amazing health nuggets with you this week, and I'm gonna share a few blessings that God did provide this week. But before we get into that, if you like these videos, you know what to do, guys. Give a thumbs up, leave a comment below. Let us know how you're benefiting from these videos and where you're watching from. Again, we always encourage you to subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, like my page on Facebook, and please share these contents with family and friends and those that you think can benefit from these videos. As promised, we will be selecting our winners. So, from last week, we had three entries. We're giving away two cookbooks, two free copy of our missionary cookbook. We're giving that away, and after 1 week, we only had three entries. So, as promised, I'm gonna give away two. So, out of the three, two lucky winners will get their prize. So, we're gonna be selecting the winner um, right now. Yes, not gonna wait. Gonna do it right now so that you guys can be encouraged to watch the video and answer the question. All right. So here we go. Drum roll. All right. So look, not looking in, stirring it up a little bit more. Let's see our first winner. I have the paper here. And our first winner of a free copy of the Missionary Cookbook, unbelievable, Silent from Zambia. Yep, Silent from Zambia. She actually messaged me on WhatsApp and asked, how can I enter to win? I sent her the video. She watched it and she messaged me back. She said the video was such a blessing to me. And she sent the answer to the question, which means that she watched the entire video. So, Silent, I'm going to be communicating with you to let you know how you can get a copy of the Missionary Cookbook for you and your family to enjoy. So, that's winner number one from Zambia. And I was blessed when I got her message. She's all the way from Zambia. And we did get one of her cookbooks out in Africa before. The hard copy, there's one in Africa. All right, let's see who will be the next winner of one free copy of the Missionary Cookbook. All right, so we're only giving away two this week, unfortunately. All right, Sister Jackie Pope Nicholson is our next winner. Sister Jackie Pope Nicholson, I will be contacting you. Sister Jackie follows me there on Facebook. We've never met in person. She's there in the US, I believe. So, Sister Jackie, I look forward to giving you a copy of the Missionary Cookbook. So, guys, those winners were selected, and we're gonna move on straight ahead. So, for me this week, basically, this week was a huge blessing. Every week is always a blessing. Kind of quiet. We know we're in a lockdown situation here in Manila. Not much was going on for me. I was mostly at home. I ended up doing an errands twice. Was one checkpoint. I just showed my IDs and stuff, and I was allowed to go about my business. But I can tell you, a lot of people are suffering because they cannot move around. Now, for those who remember the Miracle GPS, you remember the Miracle GPS, the one that we never thought was going to ever come. It took a lot of prayer and a lot of donation to get this thing to the Philippines. After getting it, it needed to have the Philippine chart and the terrain so that when I fly, I can find the airport, right, that I'm supposed to navigate to, right? And I can also know the terrain that is underneath me as I fly. So those two things, when I talked with the director of PAMAS, our Philippine Adventist Medical Aviation Services, when I spoke to him and I said, how do I get this to now work? He said, well, there's two things that you need for it. And when I looked them up, folks, it was 135 US dollars for just those two things that this need to be fully operational. So I had it now for months and months and months. And finally, a donation came in this week that was enough to cover for getting this to be updated. And by God's grace, in the next maybe week or two, maybe 2 or so, 3 weeks, maybe less than a month from now, while I'm covering for other pilots, I will be definitely using it. So that's a huge blessing that I wanted to share with you guys. So if you take a look here, you will notice that it is very much clear. Without this, like when it just came, you could not see the Philippines. So these are all the airports in the Philippines. The entire region is covered along with the terrain. So this is a huge blessing for me, and I look forward to using it for navigational purposes. So praise the Lord for that. Thank you for always praying for me. Thank you. Every now and then some of you will send a little donation just in the midst of the week. Person will just send a random donation. All those little gifts accumulate, and when a need comes up, I just put all my little donation together as they accumulate, and I can cover for things like that. So thank you very much for basically your donation and your support. Without further ado, this week for our health nugget, it's gonna blow your mind. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. This is gonna blow your mind. Okay, and here goes. Have you ever wondered, right? Have you ever wondered why is it that when you walk into the average grocery store, there's a small little section called health food section or healthy foods or health foods? Isn't it ironic? I find it very mind boggling. I go to the grocery store to buy groceries. Why would there be a small section of the grocery store that says healthy foods or health foods? I would think that the grocery store, the entire store, should have food for maximum health. Why do you put a small section in a big grocery store and caption it health foods? Folks, that's something for us to think about. Is it possible that the owner of the grocery store knows that only a small percentage of humanity or individuals who comes to their store is interested in buying stuff that is really healthy? Big grocery store, the health food section is a small slot. Could it be that most of what is in the grocery store is not healthy for us? And then look at the title that they give to it: healthy foods. Health foods. Okay, so the rest of the store and the food, it's garbage. Why do you put health on that small little corner? With that in mind, folks, this week we're going to be talking about, when do I value my health? When do I value my health? If you have not seen episode one, right? If you have not seen episode one, where we dealt with type 2 diabetes, I encourage you to go back to that video and try and catch up. Okay, this week the title is, when do I value my health? You know, friends, when the average person goes to the grocery store, we do not go in the grocery store looking to buy something healthy because we want to be healthy. The natural mindset is, I am on a small budget and this is the only thing that I can afford. And when you scan through it, you're naturally going cheap, expensive, not so expensive, cheap, affordable. When we go to the grocery store, folks, how are we analyzing what we're gonna buy? We look at the price tag. Oh man, that's expensive. Oh, that's too much. Oh, I cannot afford that. Mm. So now you know why they have just a small section that says healthy foods. And when you go to the health food section of your grocery store, what happens? The prices are usually through the roof. You know why? They know the average person who comes in the store is not looking for anything healthy. We're looking for what we can afford. So, again, the question is, when do I value my health? I have here with me the top 20 most expensive surgeries. What did I say? The top 20 surgeries that the average person will do at some point in their life. The top 20. And I have the price. The prices are in dollars. If you want to convert them to pesos or whatever your currency is, you need to know the exchange rate. For us here in the Philippines, we use pesos. The exchange rate for today is 50 pesos to $1 American. So $1 American will give us 50 pesos. Okay. Okay. That being said, surgery. Okay, folks, we're looking at when do we value our health. Okay. So I'm gonna spend the rest of my life only buying food that I'm on a tight budget and I just want to buy the mediocre amount of stuff. I just want to buy the stuff that is not that expensive. I'm not looking for anything healthy per se. I'm just looking for where I can stretch my few dollars. Okay. Now, when it comes, something might be good, but I really don't care how good it is for me. I am always looking for what can I afford. So that is the person number one. That is the average person. The mindset is I have this amount of money and this is how much of it I want to allot to my groceries. Now, these are the same people who chase after the latest gadget, who go crazy with vacation and flights, and they will go overboard with everything else except what they will put in their body. I'm gonna be cheap when it comes to food, so I'm gonna, and I've seen that. I have seen very rich people. I've been in rich homes, and the rich eat people. They eat, I mean, not people. They eat like poor people. It's very ironic. And it's interesting because the furniture in the house is expensive, the cars outside was expensive. The decoration, everything in the house was very luxurious. But the food was like eating a poor man's meal. It had the same refined carbohydrates. It had the same animal protein with the stuff that's going to clog your arteries and give you stress and diabetes and all that stuff later on. And I was finding it interesting. How comes the poor and the rich kind of eat the same thing? That was very interesting. Now, I have a friend who is from um, some part of Africa. I forgot where. And we were talking, and he told me, he said in Africa, the part of Africa where he's from, diabetes and high blood pressure, that is no, those diseases are known as the sickness of the rich, and it's because the rich can afford the meat and they feast on it, and they're the ones who end up with these lifestyle diseases. So I forgot what part of Africa, which maybe that might be a good thing. But in that part of Africa, those who have diabetes, blood pressure, clogged arteries, cholesterol problem, liver problem, tumor, and all these craziness that is associated with the lifestyle, he said those are mostly seen amongst the rich Africans in his country. So that should tell us something, right? But the question is, when do I value my health? Okay, surgery is that time. Imagine you need to do a surgery. Okay, you're in the hospital and you need to do a surgery, and the surgery is going to cost thousands of dollars, thousands of pesos, and your family member comes to you and they treat you like how you go grocery shopping. You're there, you're sick, you're dying, you need to do the surgery, and the doctor said you have a 95% chance of recovery if you could put the money together and do this particular surgery. And your family member look at you like how you go to the grocery store your entire life, and they say to you, well, you know what, it's cheaper to have your funeral because that surgery is very expensive. Now, okay, these are your kids. These are your children that you work your back off all your life until retirement to put through college, and then they look at you on your sick bed and they tell you, now bear in mind, they have a little money, but they're saying, well, based on the funeral and the arrangement and the coffin and everything, it's cheaper to bury you than to do this surgery, even though it's a 95% chance. You would be so hurt. You would be so hurt to know that your relative just gave you the cheaper option because that's what's cheaper for them. They're not thinking about how they're going to be depressed and sad after you die. They're just saying, hey, listen, I have a grocery mindset right now. Mommy, I love you, but you know what? Um, it's cheaper if we bury you. I mean, it is what it is. How would you feel? Okay, folks, this is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get back to it. Surgery is something that most people wish to avoid. Okay, this is not only because of the pain and discomfort that it causes, but also because of the expense. Unfortunately, surgery is often the only solution to rectify a medical condition. The expenses of surgery depends on a variety of factors. These include the complexity of the surgery, any parts that are needed, staffing for the surgical procedure, the stay in the hospital before and after the surgery, and medication required during the recovery period. Therefore, the cost of surgery can rise to astronomic figures or big figures. Okay. And this is the reason that taking out medical insurance is so important. So here we are. Surgery is always going to be expensive. So someone was creative enough to say, oh, if you have insurance, this will cover for a part of that surgery that you need to do. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're so happy, right? So I'm going to pay some life insurance. I'm going to pay some insurance. And when I need to get a surgery, I will get a discount, okay, on my surgery. Now, I'm not saying all surgeries are bad. Please don't throw me out, with the bath water, folks. I'm not saying eat the melon and spit the seed right now. I'm just saying there are some surgeries, and the ones that I have listed here, they are connected to lifestyle diseases. Surgery number one, number 20 on the list, gastric sleeve. How much is this worth? Before I tell you how much this is worth, okay, let me tell you what a gastric sleeve is. Gastric sleeve surgery, a gastric sleeve surgery, it's a surgical option for those who need to lose weight. So here you are, you cannot gain the victory over appetite. You just got to constantly eat. You eat everything and anything, anytime, anywhere. You're here bloated, getting obese, fat, and you just keep going like that. Someone say, hey, don't stop stressing over gym membership. Well, don't worry about changing your lifestyle and exercising. That's too hard. I'm sure you have tried that so many times. Hey, let's do a gastric sleeve surgery to help you to lose weight. Do you know what it actually is? I don't want to read too much, but I like reading. Okay. According to the Ramsey Healthcare, okay, this procedure limits the amount you can eat by restricting the size of your stomach. So basically, they're gonna do a surgery because your problem for a gastric sleeve surgery patient, their problem is they cannot stop themselves from eating a certain amount, and it's leading to them gaining weight. So some genius doctor decide, what if I make your stomach smaller, which is a sleeve? I'm gonna put a lid on your stomach. I'm gonna minimize your stomach. They call it a gastric sleeve. It's a really tiny little thing that's gonna make your stomach a little smaller, so you full faster. You still have the appetite problem. You still want to eat, but there's a small tank in your stomach saying you cannot take 20 liters anymore. It's just 5 liters, or you cannot take 10 gallons anymore. You only can take 5 gallons. It's stuff like that. This surgery, right? They will reduce the size of the stomach by as much as 75%. Seriously? So I keep eating. I cannot control my appetite. It's leading me to be obese or overweight. Here's a solution: get a gastric sleeve surgery, which is going to reduce your stomach to 75%. What? Why would you want to reduce my stomach down to 75%? That only leaves me with 25% of stomach. And it's going to help you to lose weight. How much would you pay for something like that? Come on, guys. How much would you pay for a surgery that is going to reduce your stomach by 75%? So you're getting a 75% off your stomach. No, that's a sale. That is a sale right there. Okay. In dollars, this is worth $16,500. Yep. 16,500. I want to convert it to pesos because maybe in dollars that might not be too much. But in pesos, it's 792,000 pesos. Now, I'm from Jamaica. So I'm going to convert that to Jamaican dollars. Okay. Right now, I think it's about $125 Jamaican to each US dollar. You know how much for that surgery in Jamaica, folks? I think this figure is messing with my mind. No, no, no. That cannot be. I'm gonna do $125 times 16,500. If you were a Jamaican and you're gonna do this surgery, you need 2 million Jamaican dollars. 2,062,500 Jamaican dollars to reduce your stomach to 75%. When do you value your health? Okay. So you see why you couldn't get upset with your relative when they tell you instead of a gastric sleeve, it's cheaper to bury you. Because maybe I don't know if you're gonna spend 2 million to bury anybody in Jamaica, or more than 500,000 pesos to bury anyone in the Philippines, or $16,500 to bury anyone in America. I doubt it. Okay, so when do you begin to value your health? Next, a gastric bypass. Gastric bypass. Now, before we go that, gastric sleeve, according to the health professionals, they said this can also benefit many other aspects of their health and that have suffered as a result of obesity. So, a cure for obesity from the doctor is get a gastric sleeve that's going to reduce your stomach by 75%. All right. 2 million Jamaican dollars, more than 500,000 pesos, a little 16,500. I'm not from America. I don't know how to value the American dollar. Maybe 16,500 is relatively cheap. I don't know. But it's more expensive when I think about it in pesos and dollars. Okay, number 19. A gastric bypass. Now, you guys might be wondering, what on earth is a gastric bypass? Okay, let me tell you. A gastric bypass is another form of weight loss surgery that aims to produce significant and long-term weight loss in those who are clinically obese. In this surgery, the stomach is separated into a small upper pouch and a larger lower pouch. Both pouches are then connected to the small intestine. There are several different methods of performing this procedure. The surgery works in two ways. First, there is a smaller functioning stomach, and this means the patient can only eat small quantities of food following the surgery. Second, the stomach has altered physiologically and physical response to food. This surgery is used predominantly to treat morbid obesity. However, it is also used to treat several comorbid conditions such as sleep apnea, hypertension, and type 2 diabetes. Woo! We just found the solution for type 2 diabetes. Why don't you get a gastric bypass? That's what they say. Now, how much would you pay for this surgery that's going to help you with hypertension, sleep challenges or sleep apnea, or type 2 diabetes? Well, if you have 25,000 US dollars, there's your cure for your type 2 diabetes. There's your cure for your hypertension problem or your high blood pressure problems. Now, again, my little brain cannot think in dollars because that looks relatively small. Actually, I paid 22,000 US dollars for my private pilot's license. Okay. And so 25,000, I'm 3,000 short of what I paid for my private pilot's license. Okay. Um, let's do the math. Let's convert this to pesos. $25,000 times 50 pesos is 1,250,000 US dollars. It's cheaper to bury you, folks. It's cheaper to bury. The figure here says have a grocery shopping mindset. $25,000 for a surgery that's going to help you with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and sleep apnea. It's 1.25 million pesos. That's 1.1 million and quarter, 1 point, whatever one, over a million pesos for this kind of surgery. And if you go to Jamaica, it's 2.5 million because pesos converted to Jamaican dollars, it's times two. It doubles when it gets to Jamaica. So we're looking at 2.5 million Jamaican dollars to help to separate your stomach in two pouches. First, a smaller one, then another one. And if you have high blood pressure problems and you have sleep apnea and you have type 2 diabetes, 2 million, 2.5 million Jamaican dollars is the surgery for you. 1.1,250,000 pesos is the solution for you if you're in the Philippines. And if you're in America, it's only $25,000. No, no, it's surgery. And again, what's my main point this week, guys? When do I value my health? What could individuals be doing to lead them to these surgery? I have so much weight gain now. You have to minimize my stomach because I just don't know how to stop eating when I'm not supposed to be eating. I don't know how to eat healthy. I cannot gain the victory over appetite. I cannot control my appetite. So here am I, destitute and in need of a surgery. And you're on your sick bed now, and you tell your relative you need 1.2 million pesos or 1,250,000 pesos to put your stomach into two pouches, and your relative look at you and say, well, inay, mommy, daddy, we love you, but ay, mahal yun. Mahal talaga. No, folks. No, no. When you are in that situation in the hospital, this surgery, compared to the value of your life, is cheap. When people are on their deathbed or surgical bed and the figures come out for the surgery, they don't say it's cheaper to bury me, because that would seem that you're not compassionate and you don't really love your loved one. Life is so valuable when you compare it to the price tag for surgery. But when we walk into the grocery store and we look at the food item, we're gonna say, no, that's too expensive. That's mahal. That's too much. No, let me have this can of this here because that's cheaper. Okay, I want to buy a smartphone soon, so we don't have much money for groceries. Okay, people want the latest gadget, but they don't want the most expensive food item on the grocery store. It's mahal. It's too expensive. Okay, I don't want to beat the horse too much. Okay, so people, again, most of the surgery here is linked to lifestyle. You have a weight issue, and somehow your body weight is really taking a toll on your frame. So the doctor now tell you you are so bad you need to do a hip replacement. Your hip cannot handle that weight, so we need to change that hip and give you a stronger hip to handle the weight. You know how much for that? It's called a hip resurfacing. They're gonna do a hip replacement. $28,000, folks. You get so obese because you cannot eat healthy, you cannot eat on time, you cannot eat, and it accumulates. Now you are obese, and the bone structure is crushing. I know the doctor said um, we need to do a hip replacement surgery, and they quote you $28,000. Please multiply that by 50 pesos and tell me. Get your calculator. This week you need your calculator. 28,000 times 50 pesos, 1,400,000 pesos to replace your hips. What are you going to do? Walk cripple for the rest of your life? Oh, is your life valuable to get a hip replacement? I'm sure it is. Okay, I'm not going to go through all 20. I'm just picking out the ones that I find to be very interesting. Okay. Now we're gonna jump the figures. So we've been looking at double figures. We're gonna look at some that is now triple figures. Okay. So you're having heart conditions, which is connected to lifestyle. It's not like you were born with heart problems. And even when the baby is born with heart problems, in many cases, it's the lifestyle of the mother. Sometimes the mother was trying to abort the baby. Sometimes they are drinking alcohol and smoking. And oftentimes they might be taking other drugs that is going to cause birth complications. Okay. Um, so very few babies are born with heart problems with a healthy mother and a mother that's very balanced lifestyle. Very rare. Most cases you can trace that malady in the baby to the lifestyle of the mother. Maybe some of them even were taking certain drugs, that had side effects. That's why when you take medication, please read the fine print because it will tell you if you're pregnant or nursing, this is not recommended. They do that for the sake of not having birth defects or having your baby born with a hole in the heart. So you want to be careful with that. So something is happening with your heart. It's lifestyle related, and the permanent fix is lifestyle change. But you don't want that because it's hard. It's going to challenge you. And you always want to go to the grocery store and get the most cheap, affordable, quote unquote, groceries because you don't want to spend too much on food. And it makes sense too. Why? Because majority is already buying from the other side of the store. Why should I be the minority going to the health food section of the grocery store? Everyone else goes to the other side. Only these little vegans and these gurus and these health freaks who goes to the health food section. Let me go where majority will go. Okay, majority also goes to the hospital. Anyways, heart bypass. This is a bypass surgery. And let me tell you what it is. Before I tell you the figure, because this is gonna blow your mind. Before I tell you the amount that this surgery costs, let me tell you what this surgery is. A heart bypass is one of the most common heart procedures used to treat people with significant heart defects or serious health conditions. Okay. Although this is sometimes a planned procedure, it is also one that surgeons perform in emergency cases. The purpose of this surgery is to restore normal blood flow to a coronary artery with an obstruction, basically clogged arteries, folks. Now, what clogs the arteries? Okay, what clogs the arteries? High fat diet, stress, smoking. Those are some good clogger of arteries. High sodium content, a lot of salty food. In the Philippines here, average Filipino, ay, sarap yung bulad. Woo! Sarap talaga. We love the bulad. If you don't know what bulad is, find a Bisaya Filipino, not a Tagalog, because Tagalog is toyo, right? Find a Bisaya Filipino and ask them what is bulad, and they will tell you what the bulad is. Maybe they're watching right now and they have the laugh reaction emoji on this feed. I don't know. Okay, so your lifestyle has contributed to your arteries being clogged. That's what obstruction is. It's a nice way of saying your arteries is now clogged from all the cholesterol and the fat and all that stuff you're not supposed to be putting in your body. It has now clogged your arteries to the point where you need to do a bypass surgery. So we're gonna plug two little things that so this portion is clogged. We're gonna bypass that. So we're gonna create for you an artificial artery that can help you to channel your blood flow. That's what that surgery is. Now, do you want to extend your life? Yes or no? Well, the surgery is it's going to help. And the doctor said you have a 95% chance of recovery. But you're going to have to live with that bypass for the rest of your life because when you were young, this little missionary pilot was giving health lecture and you say, don't listen to him. 40 years later, you are now 60 years old. So you're 20 now watching this video and you're not going to change your diet. You're not going to change your lifestyle. In 40 years' time, you're going to have clogged arteries because you still want to eat the high fat diet, the high sodium content, and you're just going to still smoke and drink because life is good. 40 years later, you're going to be lying on a hospital bed, and the doctor said, well, two options you have. You can die now or try this bypass surgery. It may help. And then you ask him, how much is it, doctor? And he said, you need 123,000 US dollars. Again, I'm not American. I don't know what that means in dollars. So I'm from Jamaica. If you give me 123,000 US dollars now, and I'm living in Jamaica, and I convert it at about 125. I don't even know if this is current rate. What's the current rate? Can someone tell me what's the current rate? Reen, can you pull that up? I'm going to look it up, guys. I want to know what is the current exchange rate in Jamaican dollars. What is it today? Let me look it up. Jamaican dollars to US. No. I need to do it inverted. Let's look it up. US dollars to JMD today. Whoo! Whoa! Wait a minute. What? 154 Jamaican dollars to one US dollar. I need to go home. The economy is bad. The Jamaican economy is really bad, guys. Very bad. Okay. 123,000 US dollars converted to Jamaican dollars, which is the exchange rate for today, is 154. If you have a clogged artery and you are living in Jamaica and you want to do a bypass surgery to get some more years or months on your life, you need 18,942,000 Jamaican dollars. Now, I don't know any Jamaican who have that kind of money. I don't know. So it's cheaper to bury you if you're in Jamaica needing this bypass surgery. You see the figures here? Guys, Jamaicans, when do you value your health? Are you going to spend the rest of your Jamaican life going to the grocery store, buying everything that's cheap because you want to put the bulk of your money somewhere else, end up with clogged arteries later, which is a lifestyle disease? Folks, I am not talking about no birth defect. You were not born with clogged arteries. No one is born with clogged arteries. Clogged arteries is months and years of accumulated lifestyle practices that continues to clog the walls of your arteries. And when you get to that point, you're lying in your bed now, sick, saying $123,000 versus my life or compared to my life, it's worth it. It's worth it. Give it a try. Now, if you are in the Philippines, we can just divide this by two. Okay, if you're in the Philippines and you need to do a bypass surgery for your puso, yung puso mo, you need to do, your heart. You need to do a bypass surgery for your heart so you can play a little longer with your kids and enjoy a little bit more life with your family. Well, you need 9,471,000 pesos. When do you value your health? When you're lying in a hospital bed and you need a surgery for $123,000 or 9 million pesos or 18 million uh, Jamaican dollars? When do you value your health? When do I stop going to the grocery store and say, okay, give me this one because that's mura or cheap? I don't want that one. Oh, I cannot. Hi, mahal. Oh, that's expensive. Folks, when your life is taken away from you, we always say it's worth it. Even if you're going to die. Okay? And I don't want to beat the horse too much, but in closing here, we spoke about type 2 diabetes last week, and we said that it could be the pancreas has a problem. I found a surgery that can give you a pancreas transplant. Okay, so you couldn't say no to the animal protein diet. You couldn't stop smoking. You couldn't stop the drinking. You couldn't stop the enjoying the refined carbohydrates. And so you kept stressing that pancreas, and then one day it quits. So now you're a type 2 diabetic, you are insulin dependent, you are in the hospital, and here's a surgery for you. This surgery is for the person who will not challenge themselves to recover from their lifestyle practice. So they go and go and go. And then one day the pancreas breaks down to the side of the road. You are in the hospital now, and you are given an option of you can have a pancreas transplant. So someone died from heart problem, but their pancreas is good, and the family wants to give you that pancreas. And guess what? Here's the thing. Watch this though. The pancreas is free. Someone is donating their pancreas to you. They had their nice loved one. They died from another disease, and the pancreas is free for you. But you need to pay the surgeon and the hospital to put that free pancreas in your body so that you can continue to eat the high fat diet, enjoy the refined carbohydrates, don't need to quit smoking, no need to quit alcohol, don't need to watch your stress level. All you need is install the free pancreas that will be given to you. Now, folks, so what do I need to do to afford this? You need 347,000 US dollars to install the free pancreas that is donated to you. So you don't have to worry about changing your lifestyle. Just put the new pancreas in, and maybe give or take, it might take you another couple years to ruin that one as well. Again, I don't know how to think in dollars because I'm not American, but I know how to think in Jamaican dollars because I'm from Jamaica and I've lived in the Philippines long enough, so I'm learning how to think in pesos. 347,000 US dollars converted to pesos is, wow. Is this correct? I don't know. I don't don't know. 300, is it 304? Okay, basta. 347,000 US dollars to 50 pesos. 17,350,000. Does that sound right? That no, this has to be billion. This cannot be million, right? I think my calculator does not. Guess what, guys? My calculator stops at million. Yeah, diba? My calculator cannot convert this because it's telling me that $347,000 is 17 million pesos. Does that sound right? I don't know. You guys decide. Go do your own math. Okay. So that's what you need. And if we were to put it in Jamaican dollars, then it would be 34 34 billion, right? Because if it's million, if it's billion in the pesos, you just double it in Jamaican dollars. It's a lot more. 347,000 US dollars to give you to do a surgery. That's not for the pancreas. That's just for the hospital, the doctors, the equipment, etc. And to top it off, this says it is important to note that a pancreas transplant is often done in conjunction with a kidney transplant. What? So you cannot just change the pancreas. You also need to do a kidney transplant, which takes me to my other surgery, which is a kidney transplant. You need an additional 404,800 US dollars. 414,800 US dollars to transplant the kidney. So let's add them together, okay? Pancreas transplant is $347,000 plus the doctor said when we change the pancreas, it's like this, right? Okay, let me put it in mechanical terms. When you change your oil, you cannot just dump the old oil. You also need to change the filter. This is what this surgery is. You cannot just change the pancreas. You also need to change the kidney. You change the oil. You also change the filter. And it's actually literally that's what it is. Your kidney is the filter of the body. Okay. So let's add them together now. Okay. $347,000 plus 414, 761,800 dollars. You multiply that by Jamaican dollars, which is 125. Tell me, who do you know in Jamaica that could afford a surgery like that? And then here's the thing, here's the catch, guys. You can do that surgery and you don't recover, then you pay that amount. Even if you have insurance, it's not going to cover the entire thing unless you have a very good insurance. Whoever can afford the insurance that will pay for that, I'm sure they can afford their funeral as well. Right? So I'm just saying, guys, I am just startling you with these statistics, and I keep asking you the question: when do you value your health? This is 700, more than $500,000 US dollars just to change two organs. That is connected to lifestyle practices. Your kidney doesn't fail overnight. Lifestyle for years contributes to kidney failure and pancreatic problems. Lifestyle. So all the times that we keep going to the grocery store and we look at it, you know what? We need to relabel the grocery store. Yes, that's what you heard me correctly. We need to relabel the grocery store. Instead of aisle 1, aisle 2, aisle 3, aisle 4, we need to label it. Hypertension aisle, that's what we should put. Diabetes aisle, cholesterol problems. If we label it like that, Do you think people would still buy the grocery? And then here we are. Okay, so relabel it health foods. Put it in that little corner. Health foods, healthy foods, health products. Small section, very expensive, and majority will walk past it and go to the other section. It says hypertension, high blood, cholesterol problem, pancreas problem, liver problem, kidney disease. Do you think that those label instead of aisle 1, aisle 2, aisle 3, do you think majority would still buy there? Yes or no? Well, guess what? I don't need to ask you the answer. I already know. How do I know? When was the last time you looked at a box of cigarette, especially here in the Philippines? When you look at the cigarette box, on it, on the box of cigarette, it has hypertension, it has diabetes, it has heart disease, it has stroke, it has cancer, it has pneumonia. Like, not just the disease, they also put horrific photos. You buy a box of cigarette now and you look at the box, it's disgusting. But you know what? People still buy it and smoke. Who cares what the box label says? I just want a cigarette. I got problems right now. I just want to smoke. So even if we relabel the grocery store and put all the lifestyle diseases instead of the aisles and the nice labeled shelf, if we put all those diseases, majority would still go down the aisle and buy the stuff that's going to take them to their hospital bed later on and ask them to transplant their kidney for 414,800 US dollars. Folks, I'm at the end of my lecture this week. I want to ask you, when do you value your health? When I came to the Philippines in 2011, I made a very quick decision and I said it to Irene. I said, listen me carefully. No matter what, no matter what we need to do in ministry, no matter what the mission is, we will not compromise our food to eat cheap stuff that is going to lead to lifestyle diseases later on. We made that very clearly. Now, first year of marriage, okay, or first year, we did not have a bed. And I'm from Jamaica. I couldn't even tell my family I didn't have a bed. We didn't have a bed. I went to the near little, sorry, I mean, it's like a little store there in the town. I never forget, in Morsha, Bacolod. I went to that store, okay, and I bought a very cheap foam. The foam was so cheap. When I lie on it, I could feel the floor in my back. It was that thin. We didn't have a bed. I was sleeping on the floor for 1 year. Thin foam. But you know what? I didn't have much furniture. I didn't have a nice bed, but my table was lavish with fresh fruits and vegetables. I had fruits, grains, nuts. I was eating healthily while sleeping on the floor. A friend of mine came over. I won't tell you his name. He came over one day. He was a student on the campus. He came to my house and he looked at the table. He said, "Man, you eat like a king." I said, "Yes." When I get support from different individuals, I will not cut short my table's provision so I can go buy something else and gadget and all these things. No, 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 no. I made that decision very quick. My health insurance now is supposed to be on my table every meal. That's where my money should go. I don't care about furniture. What I care about is eating what's healthy for me. My friends came, they looked at my little storage here, they said, "Man, with all this food, I'm surprised you're not obese." I said, "Temperance in all things." When I used to have people come to my house and I would show them a quarter pound of almond or a 1/4 kilo of almond or cashew or walnut or pistachio, or whatever the nut is. And they was like, "Oh, sir, this is expensive." And I would ask them, "Okay, I know it's expensive, but if you had it, how long would it last you?" And they would tell me, "Ah, sir, maybe 2 days." They would finish that in 2 days. But me, those things would last me for weeks. They would last me a long time. The vegetarian protein, which is a substitute for me, when I buy those, we budget them. Yeah. So they last us a long time. I had a friend who sent me 50 US dollars and he told me to buy beans. I used half of it. I bought beans and I kid you not, I'm still eating from it months later. 25 US dollars has given me a wide variety of beans and it lasts me for months. I asked Irene how long this amount of beans will last. She said, if it's just the two of us and we're not really feeding visitors, this could last 6, 7 months. So there you go. 25 US dollars gives me protein. I shared them with him the photo. He was shocked. He gave me $50 and told me to buy beans. I said, this can give me almost a year supply of three variety of different beans. Garbanzos, kidney beans, and black beans. If I bought the whole thing of beans for 50 US dollars, it's and I don't really feed visitors, 50 US dollars gives me beans as a source of protein that could last me almost 1 year. When do you value your health? And this is what I say to people, folks. And my mentor, Capshawn, he likes to emphasize this all the time. He says it to the missionaries, but while he's telling it to the missionary, I am also listening. He always say to them, hey, on our airplane, we're always transporting the sick. We need to take note and be an example. A lot of sick people that we transport on the airplane, I cannot give them this lecture. I will dare not. I say nothing to them, but I take note. I remember I had a mission with two individuals. They were constipated for 2 weeks. Can you imagine how much backed up waste that is? I did the flight, but I always know what's the condition of the patients I'm transporting. To be constipated for 2 weeks is very dangerous. Fiber, folks, fiber and water. The government here in the Philippines was giving away a lot of free white rice, and people were stuck at home feasting on this refined carbohydrates, and it clogged them up. It clogged them up. They didn't have fresh fruits and vegetable. They're constantly eating this thing. It doesn't have enough fiber. Maybe they're not drinking enough water, and it just leads to constipation. So my mentor says, on our airplane, we're always transporting sick people. We need to be an example by eating healthily. So I make sure I have fruits, grains, nuts, and vegetable. And I'm giving these health lecture to you guys because while I might not have the money to give you for groceries, etc., I want to change your mindset. That's the point of this video. I want to change your mindset. Now, my mother-in-law and I, we used to, back in the days before COVID, we used to go to the market together, and we buy the fruits and the vegetables in the market. And sometimes my mother-in-law and I will be like, that's expensive. Okay? So I found a new way to help her to buy what she needs instead of just thinking about the price. And she has done surgeries herself, and I would always tell her, me, the mango per kilo, or the banana, or the orange, or the apple, or the watermelon, or the sagi, whatever. What I will always tell her, the price for the fruits and the vegetables to help you to be healthy is cheaper than chemotherapy. That's why I go to the market. I am so sold out on this idea. You can ask my friends in the market. I don't ask for tawad anymore. I stopped asking for tawad. For those who don't know what tawad is, find a Filipino, ask them, Uy, what's tawad? Anong tawad? Ano yan? Anong tawad? Tawad is basically asking for discount. You go to the market, they tell you it's for $2 or 20 pesos or 40 pesos, and you say, ay, tawad po. When you say tawad, they will take a percentage off. I stop asking for tawad. If I think they're just too pricey, I will go somewhere else to see if I find it a little cheaper elsewhere. But I stop asking for tawad. Here's why I stop asking for tawad. When I go to the supermarket, which is the franchise of the rich, especially here in the Philippines. When I go to the supermarket to buy something from a store that is owned by the rich, there is no tawad. Walang tawad talaga. Wala na. There's no tawad there. You pay it and leave with the item, or you don't pay it and you leave the item in the store. Walang tawad. Now and then they might have sale, but you cannot say, "Oh, how much, ma'am, your bill is 2,000 pesos." You cannot ask the cashier for no tawad. So why do we ask for tawad from the poorer class in the palengke or the market? Another thing I do, I tell Irene the same thing. I don't buy onion, garlic, tomatoes, carrots, onion, I don't buy fruits and vegetables in the supermarket. No, this is not for Americans. This is for Filipinos right now. I don't buy those things in the supermarket. You know why? I don't want to support the rich person who is going to enjoy all the money. I'm working on a shirt where I'm working on a new shirt. When I go to the market Wednesdays, I want to wear a new shirt, and it will say something like this: I support the local farmers. Yeah. Have you ever compared the price between the fruits and vegetables in the supermarket versus the fruits and vegetables in the market? It's black and white. Sometimes the price is doubled. And I tell Irene, please, you support the local farmers. Do not buy fruits and vegetables in the supermarket. Buy it from the local sellers and the local farmers. I want to support them, not the rich person in the supermarket who will bulk up the price. And then we go to the poor and the middle class and ask them to lower the price. We don't ask to lower the price of the rich. Why are we asking to lower the price of the poor? So in closing, I'm heated this week. Hindi ako galit. I'm not galit. I'm just passionate. Guys, I want you to value your health now, not later. After I finished my medical missionary training, my first patient was my former professor when I was a theology student. He had prostate cancer. He did 2 chemotherapy surgery. And when I walk into the room, so they asked me to come and give hydro to this patient. They didn't tell me who the patient was. So the day when they invite me to live in the house and give water therapy to the patient, I walk into the room and I almost had a heart attack. I was so surprised. I was so shocked. I was looking at my professor from the university. When I was a freshman, in my freshman year, I took a class with that professor. I dropped out of university. I went to become a medical missionary, and I was feeling like my medical missionary is so worthless because it's not a degree. It's just 3 certificate that cannot get me a job in any facility whatsoever. I just know how to reason from cause to effect. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a dietitian. I am not a doctor. I'm not a health professional. I'm just a medical missionary. That's it. My first patient was my professor. He did 2 chemotherapy because he had prostate cancer. He did 2 chemotherapy, and the chemotherapy led to him being bedridden. His leg was swollen, and right underneath his armpit, beside his pillow, was a bunch of pharmaceutical medication. I'm not going to exaggerate, guys. After the first hydrotherapy treatment, my professor, who was bedridden, got out of bed, walked around with his walker's cane. He went on his porch, got some vitamin D, sat in a regular chair, and walked around the house for a while, and then he went back into bed. You know what he called me? He used to call me Doc. Everyone who visited him, and this man lived in a two-story house. I used to drive his big, expensive vehicle. He lived in a two-story house. I had my own room, fully furnished room, as his hydrotherapist. He used to call me Doc. I know I look at that man and I learn a lot of lessons from him. I said, you know what? You can have your degree, you can have your money, but when you get sick, chances are that cannot give you recovery of health. He tried to change his diet, but it was too late. He actually died. He died. And what killed him was he got pale, he stopped taking food, he couldn't eat. And we took him, rushed him to the hospital, and they found out that there was an accumulation of water in the lungs. He was taking morphine, one of the strongest painkillers out there. He was on morphine. And one of the side effects of morphine is water in the lungs. If he needed to do a lungs transplant, where's my list here? If he needed to do a lungs transplant, is it here? Man, where is it? I saw it earlier on. Rats. I think it might be on my other paper. A lung transplant. You guys ready for this? So he needs to do a lung transplant to help him to have a little bit more life, to enjoy his wife and his two kids. He would have needed $1,295,900 to give him a new lungs, double lung transplant. Dollars. $1,295,900 US dollars, folks, not pesos. He didn't have that money. So when he was taking the morphine, if someone had told him that the side effect of morphine is going to be accumulation of water in your lungs, that's going to lead to lung failure, and you might need $1,295,000 US dollars to give you a lung transplant, do you think he would have taken the morphine still? Yes or no? I don't know. Maybe he would have said no to morphine. Who knows? But you know what happened though? Why I'm sharing that story with you? I did a little research on his condition, and I found out that in the early stage of the prostate problem, he had the option of changing his diet, but he didn't. He had an option to change her lifestyle, but he didn't, right? And someone actually told him that, and this was the gardener was telling me the history of the man's health. And the gardener said, sir, my boss was told very early to cut the prostate. But he didn't want to cut the prostate because the doctor told him it's possible that after cutting the prostate to get rid of the cancer environment, he might not be able to have any more intimacy with his wife. So he said no to that surgery. And then later on, 2 chemo led him to be bedridden. Unfortunately, he died. I just want to ask you guys a question over and over. When are you going to value your health? When are you going to value your health? When are you going to start going to the grocery store and stop looking for the cheaper option that's going to kill you later? Don't wait. And I always share this in my health lecture. Don't wait until you're in the hospital bed asking for $1 million or $400,000 or $300,000 or $16,000 or $2 million. Don't wait for that moment to put a price tag on your life. Value your health now. I tell Irene, I would like to do everything I can to have an airplane, but you know what? I am not going to jeopardize my health to get it. And I told her, don't do the same thing. Don't take so many students trying to teach piano to buy airplane and build a house and buy a piece of land for the project. I said, listen, and I learned this from a friend. As missionaries, if we have to abuse our health to do the Lord's work, it's not worth it. I'm not doing it. So I wake up in the morning, I get my exercise. And praise the Lord for my mentor, Captain Sean Knapp. Every now and then he will call me on the phone and he will say, "Hey, I need to talk to you." And he will ask me, "Are you exercising?" And he will say something like this. He said, "I'm not talking about loading an airplane with cargo and patients." He will ask me, "Are you exercising? Are you going for walks? Are you drinking water? Are you eating healthily?" He will ask me. You know why? Missionaries should not compromise health to do the Lord's work. The Lord is not pleased with that option, folks. Eat healthily, exercise, live healthily so that you do not become a mission field. Okay, you might be saying, "Okay, I'm gonna do that," and I walk out and I get hit by a car, or you're so healthy with your lifestyle, but you crash in an airplane. Let it be that way. Let it be that way. Let me die healthily from another cause. But please, by God's grace, I don't want to die because I don't have enough money to do a bypass heart surgery. I don't want to live in such a way that I die because I didn't have enough to do a kidney transplant or a pancreas transplant, or become so obese because I'm constantly sitting and flying the airplane and eating unhealthily. So now I'm obese. My hips cannot hold my weight anymore, and I need 100 and something thousand to do a hip replacement. No, folks. I made a decision years and years ago. I will not compromise my diet to do the Lord's work. And I challenge the Lord. I have been in situations where, when I was a student, and I was a missionary pilot student, and I was a medical missionary student, I had financial challenges. But I challenge the Lord. And I want to end with a story, guys. I want to end with a story. Irene and I, we were in San Diego. We were renting. Our rent was $500. We could only afford 300, and we came to a point where we didn't have money to buy groceries. And all we had to do was pray and ask the Lord for help. We couldn't pay the rent, and my brother, adopted brother in San Diego, he covered my rent, but I felt embarrassed to ask him for food money, so we just prayed. And I'm not going to exaggerate. We prayed. We said, "Lord, we have to continue to eat healthy. I don't want cheaper food because it's more affordable. Lord, please, you provide me the best food so I can be healthy as a missionary to serve others." We got a text message. Right when we need groceries, we got a text message from someone we've never met. And the text message said something like this: "I heard about your story from a friend in another part of California. We have never met. The person gave me your number. After they told me your story, they gave me your number. And my family would like to send you a little care package. We don't know what you want, but we just want to send you a little package. What's your mailing address?" Guys, I sent my mailing address to the lady, and I took a photo of it. If you scroll through my Facebook, maybe you can find a photo. The groceries came in a box. It was mailed to us. It was grains, nuts, right? It was expensive items in the box. Now, this lady, I don't know. I never told her how I eat. I didn't tell her how I eat. I didn't tell her what I needed. But God used her to give me the best. And when I saw the expensive groceries that she gave, because that's what the Lord impressed her to give, I said, "Lord, from this moment onwards, I will never worry or doubt if you can provide the best items on my table to eat." I could go on and on. So the question for you, I have a promise text, 3 John 2. "Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospereth." The question for next week, to get a chance to win the free copy. I'm giving away 2 copies as usual. If you would like to win a copy or enter to win a copy, the question for this week is very easy. When are you going to start valuing your health? That's the question. Comment the answer below, and by giving an answer, your name will go inside this little container. And next week, our next TGIF, I will select two winners who will get free copies of the Missionary Cookbook. One announcement here. I am asking people, if you are interested to learn to cook healthier meals, please message me, reach out to me. We are putting together a contact list to see if we have enough people. And yes, it's not going to be free. It's not going to be free because you know how to value your health. And here's why it's not free anymore. I advertised it almost a year ago. I said, who would like to have free cooking classes? And enough people didn't sign up. Very few people signed up. Well, this time around, it's not going to be free. There's going to be a membership fee, and all the money from that will go towards the fundraising for the airplane for this project that I am pioneering. So your donation to get cooking classes from Irene and I will go to a very worthy cause. So you're going to get healthy cooking lessons, and you're going to contribute for it financially. The Lord is going to give you the mindset to value your health now, not later. Okay. And one more announcement. One more announcement, guys. Guess what? Guess what? We are putting together right now a Philippines edition of the Missionary Kitchens Cookbook. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are compiling recipes, we're veganizing the Filipino recipes, and we're going to make them available to you. So keep watching, keep monitoring. We're going to have that for you guys. It's going to be the Philippines edition, meaning the ingredients, you can find them in the Philippines. The menus are good. The recipes are going to be Filipino based food. We have a Philippines edition. I talked with Irene. I asked her what's going on in her life. Does she have the time to do the editing and the modifying, etc.? So the recipes that we have been sharing on our Facebook, they are recipes. We're not just giving away them. I'm sorry, we've given so much, and I don't think it hurts. I don't think anyone can be angry at us for asking for you to get a copy of our cookbook. So we're not sharing recipes, but we're sharing photos to let you guys know what we're putting together, and everything is gonna go into our next cookbook. It's gonna be the Philippines edition of the Missionary Kitchens Cookbook. 125 plant-based recipes on how to win taste bud for Christ. I hope you have learned something this week. Not next week, next TGIF, guys. Next TGIF, I have for you Philippine statistics that is taking so many lives. If you think the coronavirus outbreak numbers is startling, don't miss next week. I'm going to share with you statistics daily. I'm going to share with you daily how many Filipinos are dying from heart disease, heart attacks, stroke, cancer, diabetes, blood pressure. I'm going to, if you think the corona statistics is alarming, wait until I share with you next week Philippine statistics that is taking so many Filipino lives. And it's going to show you why I am here as a medical missionary pilot in the Philippines, doing all I can to help the Filipino and others around the world through these social media sharing. God bless. Mabuhay from the Philippines. Don't miss next DJ. Thank you for watching. And is there any question? Was there any question in the feed? No, no question. Let me just double check. Are you guys posting any questions? I have Irene. Amen. Oh, just amen. Okay, no question. All right, guys. See you next week. I love you guys, and I cannot wait to tell you more about how we can be healthy. All right. Bye bye and mabuhay from the Philippines.